Hi, everybody. I just wanted to share a little bit of my day today with you. So it's now evening, bedtime. You might hear the crickets outside, but it is August, end of August, almost right at the end of August, and it is back to school. So there is the rush, there is the bustle and the hustle of getting children ready for back to school. And I want to share a story of what happened, what some of what I saw transparent today, which in truth is just like that moment, but the moment happens so often as we go through the day, through the weeks. So picture getting an email. You know, one of the emails that totally pisses you off, an email that tells you how much work you have to do, how much money you do not have, and totally stresses you out, and you feel pressured, you feel disappointed. You know the kind of email I'm talking about. And usually, as people get to that point, the emojis, what you think of is that red, angry face. Sometimes what you really want to think of is the devil with horns, because that's what they're thinking of. But if in that moment you take time to just take a walk and clear your mind, and no, I'm not saying it's going to disappear. I am saying just move. That's all. I want you to move, dance, laugh, vent if you must. Because the truth is that we are humans. And in those moments when we really get stressed, we really get upset, when we feel like we're not enough, whatever the situation is, we tend to go back mentally and we find everybody else to blame it on. This is happening to me because if only my mother, if only they gave me, if only I'd finished school. And we go through this list of if onlys. And in truth, some of us really like to rehash all the things that says it is somebody else's fault. And in the moment when we're telling ourselves this narrative, we're inundated with emotions. We get this flood of negative emotions. And yet, and I know, it's just the moment. It is not who we are. And usually there's a still small voice somewhere in the background that just says, wait, don't respond right now. Do not send that email telling your boss exactly what you think. Don't do it. And when you take the time to walk, to dance, to sing, to do something, just do something different. Just move. That feeling, the anger, the frustration, the disappointment that's within you, that emotion which feels alive. Sometimes that mood, which is depression, feels like lead, like a blanket. And you feel you are justified this time. You know you are justified. But after you take the walk, after you dance, after you sing, after you go about your day and let the issue just rest, just let it rest and give yourself a chance to calm down. When you distract yourself from the moment, do chores around the house, play with the dog, chat with the children, lightly talk, not taking your frustration out on them. You will see that the clouds of depression will part. You will see that the anger will dissipate. And it happens every time. you get calmer. Life doesn't seem so bad. And sometimes then, as the soul calms down, you're able to look back at that same email or the comment that really ticked you off with different eyes. And you see the truth of what was being said. It still hurts, but you're able to see it from a different perspective. You're able to place yourself in the other shoes and you calm down. And then when you respond, if you choose to respond, because sometimes you find, it was a storm in a teacup. There was nothing to it. Sometimes, yes, you do need to respond, but your response now comes from a different place. Instead of coming from that place of anger and frustration, disappointment, depression, it comes from a place of peace, a place of calm. And that's what's reflected in your response. And it's such a beautiful thing because in return, you get peace, you get forgiveness. And this stepping away from the issue, it's 100% reliable. It will work. Give it a chance. But I can tell you it's unpredictable. You don't know when the clouds are going to part. You really don't. I can't tell you, oh, they'll part after 15 minutes. I can't tell you that. But I can tell you, take time to just step away from the issue. So now that we're going back to school, we're going back to work if you've been on leave, and everybody is pushing, they're pushing against you, and everybody's feeling rushed and stressed. Little things will set us off. Take the time. Put yourself in the other person's shoes and realize life is still good. Recognize that the person who you are, just come out of your head, eh? Realize that sometimes your truth is a different language than the other person. And the truth I want you to recognize is the truth of your heart. So when you can calm down that rambling voice that making so much noise and fussing and spewing, when you calm it down, find communion with your soul. You will begin to speak the language of your heart. And you will bring out your awesome self. You will bring out your best self that will look at the situation with grace. Look at it and say, oh my gosh, why was I making this fuss? Was it really necessary? But in all this, I want you to remember that you're human. So you are allowed to get upset. You are allowed to get stressed. You're allowed to get frustrated. It is part of being human. None of us are perfect. But step back with grace. Look at yourself. Forgive yourself. Be gentle on yourself. And know that even as you're caught up in your own story, even as your personal thinking gets really muddy down and unclear and violent in your head, knowing that you will write negative narratives, but it is also in your power to write positive narratives. And so, having calmed down, make the choice to make your narratives positive. It is from the frustrations that you're going to learn. It is by treading this road of frustration, of anger, that it teaches you how to deal with others, how to look at another viewpoint, how to really commune in peace and from the heart. So when you find yourself in the middle of a really negative rant, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Be human, be in the moment. When you're in that storm, in that little baby Demeter's teacup, allow it to spill. but allow it to spill out in nature, in the environment where you're not doing anybody else any harm. And when you get there, to recognize that this is just a sign that you need to find your anchor, come back home to that place in your heart. And once you find that anchor, you get back to that hard place and speak your truth with gentility, with ease, with grace, then you can float and recognize how beautiful, absolutely beautiful life is. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy this time of going back to school. Enjoy the rush and the newness of it, Enjoy the newness of the moment. So, wishing you confidence, wishing you lots of patience during this time, acknowledging your humanity. This is Dr. Sandra Hamilton, Rapid Transformational Therapist. If you need help with stress, with depression, with frustration, just give me a call. 849-7067. So it's 876-849-7067. Have an awesome, peaceful, stress-free day. Ta-ta.